Hello there. I'm Dr. Strube. I'm a chiropractic physician in Pinellas Park, Florida. Chronic inflammation and its effects on the body. Chronic inflammation is associated with every single disease that comes with the aging process. And that's everything from cardiac disease to Alzheimer's to diabetes to cancer, the gamut. Everything is going to be negatively affected by chronic inflammation. Now, inflammation isn't necessarily always bad. Acute inflammation is important. That's the first part of the healing process. So if you twist your ankle and it swells up and gets red and hot, that's acute inflammation, and that is the body beginning to heal up the ankle that you twisted and damaged. Chronic inflammation is low-grade inflammation that just goes on and on. It is putting the body in a state of high alert for a long period of time. It's like being in the firehouse and the bell just ringing constantly. There was a study done in Boston by a group of cardiologists, and it was a big study. It involved 10,000 people all over the age of 61 from 39 different countries. And what they did was they gave these people an anti-inflammatory, and then they monitored them for a period of time. And they found that it did reduce cardiac disease. It did reduce virtually all of the diseases that any of these people were having a problem with. Most significantly, with mortality from lung cancer, that dropped 77% in this group of people that were taking the anti-inflammatory. Now, inflammation, chronic inflammation, can be caused by a number of different things. The categories, there's four major categories. The first one would be an outside infection. So you have the hepatitis C virus. Well, that will cause chronic inflammation. A hepatitis C virus doesn't go away easily. And they have found that the body's response to hepatitis C, the chronic inflammation that is associated with it, causes far more tissue damage than the virus itself. So outside infections is one way of developing chronic inflammation. Another is genetics. You know, sometimes you're just dealt a bad hand and you're a bit more likely than the next guy to develop chronic inflammation. Another source of chronic inflammation is the environment. It's the air we breathe, the water we drink, the chemicals we're exposed to. Those things can help produce chronic inflammation. And probably the biggie of the four groups is lifestyle. So if you're obese, if you are a heavy drinker, if you're a smoker, if you don't exercise, if you don't get good rest, if you're under a lot of stress, all those things can contribute to chronic inflammation. And those are the areas that you have some control over. You know, you're not going to be able to change your genetics, but you can change your lifestyle. Diet is probably one of the single biggest factors. And it's because of our microbiome, all of the trillions of bacteria that live in our gut. They're basically divided into good and bad. Normally there's a balance between the two and everything goes along relatively well. Having a diet that is high in sugar, high in fat, low in fiber, processed foods, fast foods, they tend to encourage the bad bacteria. And if you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, that promotes chronic inflammation. So you have some options. You have some ways that you can deal with this chronic inflammation. The holidays are coming. Nobody wants to take on a big project right before Christmas. So let the holidays come and go. Don't even think about this stuff. However, after the first of the year, take a look at what areas you might be able to improve on a bit, because if you can decrease chronic inflammation, you will improve your health, and perhaps dramatically. Um, diet is usually where people tend to concentrate, and that would be a good area because that's very important. But if you're a little hesitant about taking on too much, try sleep. Just try getting better, more better sleep. Most people don't get enough sleep and they don't get enough good sleep. If you can just improve your sleep, you'll probably notice some improvement, and that might give you the impetus to go ahead and take on some of these other things like diet or weight loss or smoking or whatever the case may be. But chronic inflammation is a very serious issue and affects all of our health. Unfortunately, as you age, you're going to have more inflammation anyway. It's just part of the deal because you've been exposed to things throughout your entire life that aren't necessarily good for you. You can't change that, but you can do things to decrease that chronic inflammation. It will make you healthier, and you'll be glad you did. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I want to thank you for your time, and everybody, have a good day.